All right. Here we are, back at it again today. I'm very excited for this. I'm actually like super stoked. I've been sitting all morning trying to set something up today. So we will see how it works today. Hope everyone's doing okay today. Hope everyone's doing all right. Still working on trying to get some stuff figured out here. Let's see if we can't get you a little further away from the edge of the table. How's that sound? That's a little better. Now you're not seeing the edge of my desk. All right. Well, I say let's get started. Back at it again with the Night Castigator. Let's see. Where were we? We had basically finished working on the torso. Scroll to that exact point. Yeah, we basically finished the torso. So we were working on the Castigator bolt gun. Excuse me 1 second here. Sorry about that. Had to clear my throat, didn't want to DSP anybody. So, got the Castigator bolt cannon. So we were looking for part E31 and E32. Okay. And it looks like it just equips to the bottom there. So let's get E-sprue here. 31 and 32. Very excited, actually. This is my last night. I'm going to be kind of sad a little bit when this is all said and done, although I'll be excited to have it built. But after that, all I've got left is painting. I don't have any excuse to keep putting it off. I keep telling everybody. Painting is not as scary as it seems, and yet I am super intimidated to paint on camera. But I'm sure I'll do fine. Alright. 31. Okay, where's 31 on here? See, 10, 29, 34. E31, no, it's got to be on here somewhere. Let's see. 34, 30. 40k Fortnite crossover announced. You telling me I've got to get into Fortnite now? Also, hi, Stolas. So, Stolas, listen. I have done something. You have asked. Many people have asked. I've put a surprise in with my stream today, as you probably have seen. And the most astute of you may have noticed already, by the way. Gonna start calling you Mr. Grey Knights with how you've been building another before painting the last. Yes, unfortunately, be happy for you. I have to paint. I have to do it. But I wanted to get them all built first because I am an autistic completionist. Anyway, so all right. I have promised a surprise. It's in the chat. The most astute of you may have already seen what the surprise may have been, but are you ready, Stolas? Because if you're not, you may need to sit down for what I have to show you today. Are you ready? Anybody? Drum roll, please. I'm going to wait till I get Stolas' response in the chat before I continue, because I need to make sure he's paying attention. Come on, I know you're there, bud. Okay, alright, ready as you can be. Alright, you have asked me to do something a while ago, and it took a while to get some of the equipment I need to get this done today, and I've spent most of my morning, by the way, trying to set this up, so I hope you appreciate this, but here we go. I have set up, right next to my desk, a kitten cam. So now you can watch the kittens in the corner of the stream the entire time if you so choose. I got all 3 of them in there. They have been going at it all morning and have been super annoyed with me because I will not let them out of the pen because they have a tendency to chew on electrical wires. And there's quite a few of them in the game room with my PC and all. But I set it up so now people can actually watch kittens live. They're right here next to my desk. So we can watch them live as I build and paint. And they have been going at it like crazy playing today. I have to finish them before I can paint them. Continues to buy more to avoid painting longer. Listen, don't call me out like that, all right? I mean, it's true. But don't call me out like that. Yes, they are actually doing really well health-wise. So Inky and Blinky, the 2 black cats, they have been dealing with constant stomach problems. And Clyde, the white cat, who is a girl, by the way, Clyde has had an upper respiratory infection, but they are finally healthy, and boy, are they having a lot of fun now that they feel better, which is exciting. I'm so happy for them. So, yes, kittens are now back on the menu, boys. So, although we're not eating kittens. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But it is exciting. You didn't lose any? So none of these. We never found the 4th kitten, unfortunately, in the litter. We've been trying our best. We never found them. We're pretty sure Pinky never made it. But the other 3 that we managed to actually save from being outside and on their own, they are super, super healthy. We've been fighting like crazy to get them healthy. We did like 2-hour feeding schedules, so like constantly every 2 hours we fed them, and I stayed up late with them most nights because my wife works and she has also got her own health problems, so I'm trying to help them out. But they are doing so wonderfully. They're doing so great. In fact, they've annoyed my wife, because now they're climbing all over her record player with all of her records, and including the one I got her for her birthday last year, which was a custom-made record for her, and she was not happy about that. But she's very glad that they're okay, and we can't wait till after the cruise, because that's when we can finally separate the kittens, and we get to keep our kitten home permanently, which is so nice. The Dark Lady Inkspill, or as Stolas has dubbed her, the Void Kitten, is perhaps the loudest and most rambunctious of the bunch, too. So she's doing great. Clyde and Blinky are going to be going to my parents. They're keeping both of them. Blinky is my dad's son, so my brother, I guess. And Clyde is definitely the most princess of all the cats. If you ever want to save yourself from a broken heart, never try to save baby rabbits. They die if you look at them funny. Oh, that's really sad. Yeah, I used to have a rabbit when I was a kid, and he chewed his way out of chicken wire and escaped, and presumably is dead now, but yeah, I've never tried to save baby rabbits. That's sad. But yeah, so the kittens, they're okay. They're doing great. Too good, if you ask me, because they've got a lot of wet food and dry food. My wife does not mess around when it comes to kittens. But they're doing fantastic. And like I said, I've spent most of my morning setting this up so everyone today can enjoy kittens on Kitten Cam. Where on earth is 31? I know it's here somewhere. Man, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get these done because I get to start painting soon. I won't be able to stay around long today till later, but I'm looking forward to seeing the Horde. Well, I'll tell you what, Be Happy. I'm going to be streaming a long stream today. No, oh, well, Luna, you did miss something. Here we go. Haha! I've now added the camera in. It's been working on it on OBS, and it's not wanting to work. But there it is. Live and in glory. OBS did not want to transition the overlay, but boom. Kitten overlay. Anyway, yeah. Honestly, be happy. We're gonna be streaming most of the day, so if you can't stay, and I do appreciate you stopping by. If I'm still on later, we'd be glad to have you. And hopefully, I didn't get to do it yesterday. My dad wasn't up for it, but hopefully later tonight, I'll be doing some Warhammer gaming. So, but thank you again for stopping by. And Kitten Cam is finally in full swing, and you're gonna watch them scamper around. I'm literally zooming in so all I see is kittens. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'll blow it up just a little bit more. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. We'll make it a little bit bigger since it's a little small on the YouTube side. And boom, there we go. Blew it up just a little bit bigger for you. Inky, Blinky, and Clyde, ladies and gentlemen. Named after the ghosts from Pac-Man. We never did find Pinky, but Clyde was the only white one, so we had to name Clyde Clyde. She ended up being a girl. But we decided to stick with the name. So we have a boy named Sue and a girl named Clyde. Alrighty. I gotta figure out where this 31 is supposed to be. Is there another E sprue, maybe? I don't think so. Where is this supposed to be? 34, 23. I see 34 and 33. I see... Oh, this is 31. I thought this was 21 this whole time. I'm dumb. They are spicy. Let me tell you, the timid one of the bunch, so the two that are actively fighting one another, that's Inky and Clyde. Blinky is currently asleep in the cat bed, right on the edge. Whoo, boy howdy. You should see them. My wife's been letting them wander around the house, and our two dogs, Chewy and Han, Han and Chewy are very interested in the kittens. Very, very interested in the kittens. Han is still too much of a puppy, so he doesn't realize like how enthusiastic he's getting, so we have to get onto him constantly. Chewy is very timid, and my wife was a little worried about him at first, but she's seen him now carry around an egg throughout the entire house and didn't crack it once, so she's not as worried about Chewy, but Chewy keeps trying to pick up the kittens, and we have to get onto him a lot for that. But he really likes the kittens. He wants the kittens to be his best friends. Oh, okay. I see. That's how that gets on there. That's a persnickety little piece. And let me tell you, Clyde and Inky have the biggest personalities, and they will scream at you if they want out of their cage, and they want out constantly. I walked by there this morning trying to feed them, and they were both howling so loud I had to shut my bedroom door so they didn't wake up my wife while I was feeding the animals at 4 o'clock this morning. They say pets mirror their owners, so you guys must all be friendly. Yeah, pretty much. My wife's, ironically enough, she says I'm more outgoing than she is when it comes to people. I always thought of myself as a pretty severe introvert, and I've tried to overcome that as much as I can. But, we try to be pretty friendly and nice people. Clyde. Han tends to be pretty intense, but I think that's just the German Shepherd. He's a sweet dog, though. He really does try his best to be a good boy. He's just not good at it. Him want to be, though. Him want to be such a good boy. Okay, let's see here. Huh. Okay. Jesus. Girls, calm down. Going ape crazy in there. I tell you. Is that how's that supposed to go? Let me see here. They are great though. The dogs and the cats, they are fantastic. My wife's first cat, Trip, he was called Trip because he tries to trip you as you walk, and he lives up to the name. I warn you. He is a sweet cat, but he also wants to violently assault you. Oh. Oh, okay. Now I see. God, I wish the instructions on this were just a little bit more clear. They're hell-bent on waking up their sibling. Blinky's used to it. Blinky sleeps like a corpse, I promise you. Unless there's food involved. And if there's food involved, I warn you, he will be waking up. You got some mutilators in the Eye of Terror book today? Awesome. That's really awesome. I'm a little jealous. I don't have either of those. But I'm also not a huge Chaos guy. Although I have to be honest with you. I kind of want some Red Corsairs. Hey, formerly Wilson Family Jewelry, what's going on? Welcome to the Chaos Show. Today, just showcasing off some kittens on the kitten cam, which I've set up live next to my desk, which is a lot of fun. So enjoy the chaos of the 7-week-old kittens. If I got that wrong, my wife will be correcting me in the chat at some point today. They are not 7 weeks old yet. Alright, let's make that ammo box. That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Okay. I'm getting really close now. I have to finish building the base today on camera for the, let's get the light off camera. That'd be nice. I got to finish building the base for the Castigator so I can actually get its legs posed properly. But I think I might be able to get this done today. And if that's the case, at least the construction of the main portion of the night today. And if that's the case, then I get to work on posing and basing, and that's probably all I'm going to be doing next week, too. The Eye of Terror book does have an Imperial Knight detachment in it. You know, I've actually been doing some research. Now that I'm, getting pretty close to the point where I can actually start playing on the tabletop, I've been looking at what kind of detachments I want to do. Obviously, the main centerpiece of the strategy for my army is going to be the Porphyrion. I want to take that in every single game I play, and I know it's not good from a winning games perspective. It actually sucks and hurts you more than helps you from trying to win a game. But it's also a rare enough knight that I feel like most people don't really know how to contend with it. The biggest issue for me is what detachment to use for it. So what's the name of the detachment, Luna, that comes in the box of the Book of the Eye of Terror? Is it Imperial Knights, not Chaos Knights? Or is it kind of one of those either one can take situations? I'll have to check it out. The one I've been looking at is Guardian Gate detachment, which has one of the most asinine rules in it that I've ever heard. Been thinking of starting Legions Imperialis and doing knights. You know what? That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. I've not gotten into Legions Imperialis myself. I'm more in the larger scale model side of the hobby, but that could be really interesting. I've never given it much thought. So, you know what? I say go for it, Wilson. I'm going to try doing it myself. See if I can't get some knights. But my main thing right now is once I finish my Knights army, I've got to start spending money, saving up money, but spending money to get to get some Age of Sigmar models. We should rename it to the Eye of Cuddles. Only if Inky, Blinky, and Clyde can be war bosses of a Chaos Warband. And I think you can agree. Actually, to be fair, I think Inky's probably more an Orc war boss than anything. But I will allow it if we can make the Dark Lady Ink Spill an honorary member of, like, Huron Blackheart's Red Corsairs. Or Clyde. Is the Eye of Terror all that bad? I think it's just more Imperial propaganda. I didn't even see that part. Oh yeah, it only houses the Chaos Gods that rip apart and torture human souls. But if the kittens are involved, it may change the whole dynamic. Tzeentch may be undone by the power of 3 kittens. It is something the Imperium has never tried. Just saying. There we are. Got my bullets put in there. Now I just need 14. Let's see if I can find 14 without mistaking it for another piece entirely. I only did that for 5 minutes today. I'm disappointed in the lack of kittens and corn armor edits. You know what? Honestly, same. My wife wants to make her own squigs for her own orc army eventually, and give them all cat ears and call them squiggles. I think the knights and tank. I like the knights and tanks, but the 40k scale there are so expensive. They are expensive. The thing is, though, to get a full 2,000 point army, knights and custodies might be one of the cheaper armies to get because you don't need much. But the problem is you're not really playing traditional 40k at that point. You're playing a very separate kind of game, which is why knights have always felt distinct and different. Now, personally, I like that approach, but I understand a lot of the intimidation there. How's your White Scars coming, by the way? I was curious about that. I was thinking about them the other day. I was looking at the mini showcase. You did find a great kitten Termagant. You cannot say that in this chat. Stolas, my wife may be watching, and if she sees that, I'm going to have to buy her Tyranids. She already thinks the Tyranids are cute, and she wants to paint them up in girly pop colors. Thank you, Lady 40k and Space Meowreens on Instagram for that. Okay, what's going on? Oh, my wife's cat's running underneath the... It's adorable. I know it's adorable. That's the problem, man. I don't need my wife to know about it. She'll want it. And if she wants it, then that means I'm going to have to make an entire Tyranids army for her. And I already have to get her Idoneth Deepkin and her orcs done. She refuses to build them or paint them. She just wants to have them. They're on break for now until I see what happens with 11th edition. Working on my NIDS at the moment. That's fair. That's fair. I think 11th edition's really going to change the game. I don't know if it's going to help or hurt Imperial Knights, because it does seem to be much more of a melee-centric force. But the next 3 Knights I'm planning on buying are very melee-centric. I'm going to be building a Knight Gallant, which is the fist and chainsword version of a Questoris Knight. A Knight Destrier, the melee one. Cat Girl Hive Tyrant could go so hard. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Stolas. I hate you for it, but you're not wrong. I'm gonna do the Gallant, the Destrier, the melee version. So double melee weapons on the Destrier, and then I'm gonna get a Lancer. So I'll have 3 of the 4 Cerastus Knights. The Lancer is probably going to be the last one I get. I personally hate the shield the Lancer has, just the wireframe. But I found some 3D print files that if I print in clear resin that I can tint with some blue ink, it should work. It looks like basically like the bubble shield effect, where it kind of has this warping dome in front of the shield that's being hit by explosions and such, which I think could look really, really cool. But as the model of the shield itself stands right now by itself, I think it's really stupid looking, and that's just a me thing. So I'm putting that one last. I'm not going to be doing that one first. But the Destrier and the Gallant are definitely happening. And I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing for the army, because being melee-centric, I mean, I don't have to worry too much. But my Porphyrion, unfortunately, not going to be doing very well. Because the only melee it has is its Titan Stomp, and with 8 inches of movement, it's not a very fast knight. But and now we're just going to be licking the bowl in the middle of the pen. Way to go, Clyde. I'm proud of you. Spurgate right there. I think we're good there. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the front here. Oh, okay, so that's how that fits. Alright, and then we need E15 and E17. Alright, the ammo case is coming along quite nicely. And then my favorite part of this whole thing, this bad boy sword right there. I can't wait. Is there any real difference between knights and smaller titans? Yes, actually. So from a lore perspective, a knight, you could technically have a knight the same size as... they actually have a detachment called Freeblade Company. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. I might have to look that up. Thank you, Luna. I want to get my son into it. I think it would be to get him some knights, but the smaller ones too. Oh, yeah. Armatures, great place to start are armatures, because you can use them in any army as long as it's Imperial or even Chaos, and run them as an ally, I believe. So that would be a great place to start if you want to start collecting any kind of knights. Even like I think there's a combat patrol now, but the combat patrol is literally just a box of armatures, which is funny. I've also heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true now, that the next edition of Kill Team, which they have that, they're playtesting that new game mode that they announced at Adepticon, but there's a new one coming potentially. And the rumor I've heard is that you will be able to take armatures into Kill Team. I don't know if that's true, but if that's the case, that would be very interesting, and that would be a way for me to get into Kill Team other than kit bashing my Kill Team for my knights. Okay, back to the Titan question. So, theoretically, you could have a knight that's the size of a Warlord Titan, right? Theoretically. The main difference is the amount of people it takes to operate the mech, right? So in a Titan, you have a Princeps, the 2 pilots, as well as the crew that man the weapons and the different systems. It's basically a walking ship, right? But the Porphyrion only has 1 human inside of it, and that is the pilot that is bound to the knight itself. There are other minor differences that don't really matter. They're both powered by the Throne Mechanicum. They both have somebody who's bonded to the Throne Mechanicum. but whether or not, like, you have, say, you know, the sense of fealty or duty that a knight throwing Mechanicum gives versus a titan's not quite the same. So, like, there's stuff like that. But as long as there's only one person piloting it, it technically is a knight. It only requires one person piloting it. Let me say that. So that is the only difference. Believe it or not, the Porphyrion is considered a knight because it only has one pilot in it. But theoretically, it could be the smallest Titan. The Warlord Titan, I think, requires multiple people piloting it, which is why they're Titans, not knights. Legions Imperialis Mechanicum. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. Oh, yeah, sorry. Miss Luna's message. Chaos Knights also have their own detachment called Hellhunt Lance. That name is way cooler, Luna. Classic Chaos W. Okay, I think we're coping a little bit there, bud. Let's not forget that it took until 8th edition for Chaos to get a first major victory in the lore of 40k. Alright? There's no such thing as a classic Chaos W. I say that to provoke a response out of you, Stolas. I'm not being sincere. Chaos is pretty cool. I have to admit. Red Corsairs, I'm actually, like, I'm legitimately thinking about. If I could just get away from, like, the worship of the dark gods aspect of Chaos, I think I'd be okay. Right? I think I'd be okay. And I think Huron Blackheart and the Red Corsairs are a great way of going about it. Plus, it's pirates. Who doesn't like pirates? Every crusade was carefully orchestrated plan of genius. Yeah, bullshit. Only Abaddon would go back and retroactively claim his defeats were victories. Abaddon is the Marnius Calgar, and the Black Legion are the Ultramarines of Chaos. The War Master is and always will be the best. The War Master is Horus. Abaddon's just an angry boy who doesn't know how to spell the name Ezekiel. Alright, listen, you want to be a simp for Chaos, that's fine. But let's pick a good Chaos warlord to be happy with, alright? Let's go with some Huron Blackheart. Let's throw out like a Karn the Betrayer. Like, Karn the Betrayer slaps. Alright. We can both agree Karn is the coolest. There's 2 Chaos Space Marine detachments called Warp Spike Champions and Cult of the Arcaphane. Well, okay. Warp Strike Champions are pretty cool. I knew calling him the War Master would trigger. Stolas, you son of a bitch. Not sure what color I might go, though. Emperor's Children colors were silver and pink. Well, it depends, I guess, which side of the of the multifaceted conflict that the heresy would you want to go with? Are you a Slaanesh kind of guy? If so, I'd like to show you to this government watch list. Oh, looks like Clyde is on the hunt, and it looks like. Oh, Blinky's up. Oh, that's cute. Hey, you're live again. What's up? What's going on, Sean? What's going on? Karn could never lead, though. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. Oh, today is my Sunday. My weekend is Wednesday and Thursday, and I try to do some streaming. All I'm working on today is finishing up most of the stuff with the Castigator, and I'm doing a longer stream today, so I'm starting a little early from my usual start time. I'm planning on trying to see if I can get some basing done. I have to finish making the base for Finish making the base for my Castigator, which means I have to tear up some Necron models. I want Fabius Bile to become a Chaos entity, not Slaanesh, though, like his own thing. You know, and it's not like Fabius is, like, ultimately that, like, devoted to Slaanesh. I could see that. I could see it happening. I think what's going to happen is we're also going to have some champion of Malal at some point. I like factions that aren't the norm, White Scar, Space Wolves, Salamanders, but if I did Knights and Tanks, I'd really like them to be the colors of Emperor's Children. That's fair. You know, you could go with a more regal Emperor's Children from the Horus Heresy perspective, that purple and gold, which would look really cool, I think. It just depends on the shade of gold and the shade of purple you go for, but yeah, I can respect that. I am an unabashed Space Wolves simp, so they were the ones that got me into the hobby, so that's kind of my go-to boys are the Wolves of Fenris. Come on now. Am I not doing this right? I think I'm doing this wrong. No? This tab goes in here, but I can't. Okay. I'll do that one side later. Salamanders are goated. Salamanders are... See, even you could agree still those salamanders are goated. Because salamanders, nobody hates the salamanders. And if you do, I have questions about your sanity. Because salamanders are amazing. There we go. I took your advice from yesterday and painted my cool models, and they turned out really good. Well, nerd, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Well, hey, listen, if you're in the Discord, you will need to post pictures in the mini showcase. I'd love to see it, unless you already have. In which case, you hate the Salamander Shun? I have questions about your humanity. It's so sad. Why? Is it just because they're like the generic good guys that everyone always goes on about, and they're really not as good as most people say they are? Because I understand that. Salamanders are mutants. They should switch sides. Space Wolves are mutants by that same logic, and so are the Blood Angels. Absolutely not. What's the Discord? You know what? That's a good point. Let me post it. I am trying to set up a Discord server for a community for people who appreciate and want to celebrate the hobby and help build people up. So... here it is. It's the link to the Wizard's Tower, my personal Discord I've set up for this community. It's not completely set up yet, so mind the boomerisms in it. I will be getting everything done, like the rules page is empty and stuff like that. But I will be working on it once I get back from my honeymoon. In there, we have a page for a mini showcase, so people can show off their models and kind of get inspiration from other people in the community. And there are some really talented people in the community who have done great, like, builds, kit bashes, paints, all that stuff. So I highly recommend checking it out if you're not already a part of the community. I'd love to have you at the Wizard's Tower. Let's see. All Marines are mutants. That's true. That's true. A Chaos Paper, I love Salamanders. All Marines should switch sides. They're too human. Salons don't really act like adrenaline-fueled testosterone to the max like absolute monsters they should be. That is a take. But that's fair. I can understand why you might be a little leery on that. I'll say this. I think they're great. I love them personally. But I understand. I think it's just nice having a variety of Marines to kind of showcase the different facets of Space Marines as a whole. Also, they have poor decision. They make poor decisions saving single humans while putting the whole solar system at risk. I can't argue with that. I can't. It's nice to have a more human side to the Space Marines. For me, personally, I understand where you're coming from, though. I think that's what I love about the Space Marines, both Imperial and Chaos, is there's a little bit of everything that you're looking for. If you like chaos, like super into chaos worshiping people and stuff like that, you have that. The word bearers, the 4 aligned Chaos warbands and all. I don't like the worship of the Dark Gods, and now that they've added the Red Corsairs and They're starting to bring the Alpha Legion back. I might be more receptive to being Chaos in general. And then with the Imperial side, you have a wide variety of cultures and personalities and outlooks. And I think that's what makes it, like, the setting so great, is there's something for everybody somewhere in it, you know? So I can't fault you for that. What do you think of making your own Space Marine chapter where you can have a bit of everything? I think that, honestly, you want to know my honest take on that? I love it. I love that idea. I really, really do. I think there should be more homebrew involved in in the hobby. And GW's kind of gone away from that, and I feel like they're starting to realize, like, maybe we should go back to that a little bit, especially after the whole the Armageddon Steel Legion fiasco that they did. Then people are like starting to realize, like, oh, well, if we just let people kit bash and homebrew, we wouldn't have an issue where we have to make models for these people all the time, because, you know, multi-billion-dollar companies can't afford to make a model for everybody. I mean, God forbid, you know. But I think it's great. I love that idea. Every faction I build, every single model I build is always going to be something homebrewed and customed. I have a homebrew Space Marine chapter I've worked a little over a year on to building lore, and I'm starting to build models for them. I actually just came up with a name for them the other day. Yeah, they've been an unnamed Space Marine chapter until a few days ago. But I love it. My knights are custom. My carriage and overlords, my cities of Sigmar that I want to be building, they're custom. Everything's custom. I think it's a great idea. Okay. All right. I saw your message, Stola. Sorry, it took me a second. I got a little sucked into looking at my stuff. You posted the picture in the Discord, you said. Okay. Ooh, firstly, my army finally finished. 3 years of collecting and 0 games played. Illegal for... You know what? That looks good, though. Oh, wow. You know what? Since we're already here, let me... let me ooh, I forgot my Steam is open. I should probably not have my Steam up if I'm going to swap over real quick. Let's pull up the Discord real fast. What do you guys say? Does that sound good to everybody? Alrighty. Let's okay, got that there. Okay, I'm going to transition real fast, real quick. Let's pull up the Discord. Minimize that. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. We had this problem last time. OBS seems to be showing like everything's okay. Yeah, looks like everything's fine. All right, so let's look here. Let's look at the mini showcase. Jeez, that is a good-looking army. That really is a good-looking army. Let's zoom in. Oh, wow. They look really well painted. That's just impressive. I love that. That is great. That is awesome. That is... Oh, I just minimized... I'm stupid. That is so cool. That is really, really cool. All right, let's see here. Where did we post the tiered kitten? Oh, my God. My wife needs that. My wife needs that. She's gonna yeah. All right, my wife's gonna see that in the server. Thank you, by the way. That is awesome. That army, though, that looks really, really good. You should be absolutely proud of yourself, for sure. For sure. Oh, man. Okay. I made my own Space Marine chapter called The Dark Dungeon. My friend, who isn't in the hobby, made the name because it is the clan his character is from in Dungeons & Dragons. That's cool. That's really cool, Lord Nerd. Mine will consist of Legions Imperialis, Saturnine Heavy Assault Cadre, Mechanicum Knights, Titans, and then just tanks. That's really cool, Wilson. Is that Luna's? It's not Luna's. I do not want to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's another member of the community, and it looks really good. I have to say, that is a good-looking army. You should be absolutely proud of that, for sure. If we get any more posts today in the mini showcase, I will gladly show them on stream because they look really, really good. So you should be proud of yourself. That's a really good-looking collection, and that just nice, just really nice. I'm gonna keep just repeating the same sentence over and over again like an idiot, though. All right, let's get to E18. All right, but yeah. I think it'd be great. Legions, Imperialists, Saturnine Heavy, Assault Cadre, Mechanicum Knights, Titans, and then just tanks. That'd be a lot of cool fun. You know what? I've never gotten into Legions, Imperialists. If I have any spare income, I should absolutely look into it. Right now, I've had a bug that I really, 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 really want to get Cities of Sigmar, for Age of Sigmar. My armies are mostly purple. Yes, Luna's stuff looks really good too. Very colorful, a lot of bright, vibrant colors in them, but I think they work really, really well. And Luna's also made her own banners for her armature that she's posted in there. You know what? Screw it. Let's look at that real fast, actually. Let's show off some minis here in the mini showcase, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. Do you prefer Citadel or other paints? Honestly, Lord Nerd, I prefer... Citadel's really great. They have a lot of great colors, a lot of great vibrancy. They're way too damn expensive, and the pots don't last. They don't preserve your paints for long term. The brand I like to use is Too Thin Coats by Duncan Rhodes. He used to work for Games Workshop, made his own paint line. There we go. And most of his colors have a 1-to-1 comparison to Citadel. Like he's like. He has one called Sanguine Scarlet that's just Mephiston Red. And it's like a 1-to-1 of Mephiston Red. So Too Thin Coats, they're half the price. Same size bottles, really good quality of paints, great vibrancy. So highly recommend Too Thin Coats. If you're interested in getting any paints, I ordered them online. I'm in the States, and I had to order them online from England, so I had to buy like the whole bundles. So I've got the first 2 waves of paint, so I got 120 paints, and I think I paid about $200 in total. But I had to buy them in bulk, and they had to treat that, and also to pay tariffs on top of that. But if you can get individual bottles, they're going to be way cheaper than Citadel, and they're really good quality. All right, since we're going to do that, let's go ahead and let's look at the mini showcase a little bit. Let's check this stuff out. This is something I've posted. I've been working on my blackout models, and I painted this with Too Thin Coats, and I'm trying to get some edge highlighting and stuff. Not my best picture skills here, but I think it looks really good in general. It's not my best work. I'm not a great painter. I'm really good at kit bashing the stances of models more than anything else. But I think it looks really, really good. You gotta join the Discord? Yeah, absolutely, Lord Nerd, for sure. Please and thank you. This actually, I know this. This came from... Hello, all. Just jumped in and saw. Is that an Atropos? I don't know. I know it is Cerastus by the Carapace armor. It is not an Atropos. I don't have an Atropos. I really, really want to. I'm actually working on the Castigator today. I have a Castigator and an Acheron, and the Castigator is the last knight of all the knights that I own that I need to build, which I'm very excited for. This came from Luke, who if you've been here in the streams at all, you might know. He's actually been like kit bashing Lego pieces so he can have custom poses in mid game, which I think looks really cool. Just gonna showcase off some members of the community real fast. He also painted this Knight Castellan, which I think looked really, really good, by the way. Did a great job on that. Here's his Lancer. I think his Errant and Defenders look really, really good here. Like, they just... really nice pose. Oh, Paladin and Defender. Excuse me. And here we go. Here's Luna. Luna posted this Moirax that she was building, an Armiger Moirax, and made a custom banner out of green stuff and everything, which I think looks really, really good. And I love the weathering. The weathering on this right here looks really good. Luna, if you're still in the chat, you should be proud of yourself. That looks fantastic, by the way. Really, really does. That's pictures of... progress, and then of course Wilson. I will be doing a full army video relatively soon, but speaking of Wilson, I just want to point out Wilson's been working on this bright, vibrant red trim on the White Scars when he was working on them, And I think it looks really good. I love that choice of red with the white. It just really pops. It makes the army look really distinct. So, but yeah, I will be doing one soon. I have to. What I need to do is I need to get them finished and built. I've got them currently in subassembly. Is half the problem. My Acheron is in subassembly. My Castigator will remain in subassembly. But I want to do a full army reveal soon, very, very soon. Lord Kane, I want to point out, since we got a couple of new people in here, I wanted to show off real fast, kind of like my philosophy here, since we got some new people. I wanted to start streaming myself in the hobby for 2 reasons. We have a lot of people who are getting into the hobby for the first time, which I'm very excited for. I think that's awesome. Use soil works rust washes on that Moirax. It looks really, really good. Awesome. Lord Nerd, welcome to the Discord, my guy. Genuinely. That's awesome. We'd love to have people over in the Wizard's Tower, so if anyone's interested, link is in the chat. But yeah, I've got custom poses I've been working on for all of my knights, which is one of the things I think is the coolest part about this. So if you're familiar at all with the Leagues of Votann models, this probably looks relatively familiar to you. This is based off of the High Call model with the Power Fist point and the Tactical Rock. The very first stream Stolas actually saw me in was me building this rock for this model. So that's what it will look like once it's all said and done. I'm going to get it painted. I think it'll look really, really, really good. But I'm doing it all on stream because I want to show people who are intimidated or scared about the hobby that, you know, I'm kit bashing. I'm breaking pieces. I had to bend all the fingers and break them, by the way, to get this pose to fit. I had to do a lot of plastic rod and gluing, and I messed up a lot building this. This took me about, I'd say 24, 25 hours in total to get this particular model posed this way. But I want to show people that if I can do this and actually potentially ruin a $150 model and I can make it look good and everyone thinks it looks nice, then anybody can put paint on plastic. Because a lot of people, especially new people in the hobby, have been super intimidated by painting. And I'm like, you know, honestly, I want people to know it really isn't that bad. It's a lot of fun. And if you can see some dumbass on YouTube super glue himself to a table and nearly ruin a model and get something that looks kind of decent, then you can paint something and make it look really, really good. So this is my Knight Errant. I showed it off yesterday for a couple of people. You might notice the plastic rod here. The only piece that's going to be making contact with the base is this front toe. So I'm going to have a hole through the base where this plastic rod will sit. I'm going to paint this black so you can't really see it. But what I love about this is, one, I've cut all the toes off and reposed it. I separated the shin from the thigh here, but I've based this off of a model. And Luna, who will most likely point out, this model right here is based off the pose of the Lieutenant Titus model that came out a couple of years ago. And that's what I kind of wanted to base this model off of, was that pose. And although it's mirrored, I flipped it. It's not the exact same pose, but I think it looks really good, and I think it'll look really, really cool. I'm not a great painter. I already showcased that off in the stream, but I am decent at kit bashing because I ran my head through a wall, just because I'm too stubborn to give up. And I think there are 2 ways to make your model stand out. If you're not great at painting and you're not confident in your painting skills, try something like a kit bash. Swap some pieces around, change a pose, and honestly, you might have something that looks way cooler than half the models that exist out there anyway. So, all right, where was I? I just finished the ammo box for the Castigator bolt cannon, which I think it looks really good. So now we get to move on to my favorite weapon on this night, which is the Tempest Warblade, which is unironically the largest power sword in 40k. I don't think there's a larger power sword in all of 40k. I think it is the Tempest Warblade, which I am very excited for. I bought some 30 gauge copper wire for this sword because I had an idea for like electrical arcs coming off of the blade and zapping the base that this model is going to go on. So I'm very excited to get to do that. And then I have to finish the actual base of the of the model itself. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed Lord Kane. I missed a couple of your messages here. Let's see. I have used my Bamboo P2S for small parts. Used WG original models for the main 90% of the model. That's good. That's good. See, a lot of people, I'm a huge advocate for 3D printing. I don't do a lot of 3D printing myself because I don't own a 3D printer. Trip, can you not attack the base of the camera stand, please? Thank you. Sorry. The cat's rubbing on my leg and is stepping all over the base, so I apologize. I don't have a 3D printer myself, but I am an advocate for 3D printing in the hobby space. I think it's great. My army will not have 3D printed parts on the knights themselves. I will be getting 3D printed Nurglings. A friend of mine is printing, like, he said he's printing me 100 Nurglings, and I'm going to have them either being squashed or cut in half or burned on the models themselves. But the reason for that is because I don't want any accusations of 3D printing on my army, because I want this to be a tournament army. I'm going to be trying to take this to multiple GW-sponsored tournaments. My dream is to take this army with the Castus Knight Porphyrion that I built on stream to the Las Vegas Open, the largest tournament in the U.S. Poor Nurglings. It's not that poor. They're not real. They're 3D printed. You don't even want to know what I'm going to do to a Great Unclean one for the Porphyrion. But I want to take these two tournaments, and in order for them to be tournament legal, they have to be at least 50% Citadel plastic. But every other army I'm going to be using, I would not mind any 3D printed parts, and I'm a huge advocate for that. But yeah, I think 3D printing is awesome. My friend JD, who runs the channel Spruta Saga, he is actually going to be he's actually 3D printing a lot of pieces for his Stormcast Eternals army, which is awesome. It was a Christmas present to the family. Yeah, I thought about that, so I figured if I used real models but just modified some weapons, that would be okay. Their standards are, it has to be 50% or majority Citadel plastic. So if you're only 3D printing small parts, you shouldn't even have any problems with that whatsoever. And it also depends on the tournament organizers. Now, if GW itself is throwing the tournament and it's not a sponsored tournament, they might be a little bit more draconian, but again, the rule is 50% Citadel plastic. So as long as you're meeting that threshold, I don't think you're going to have any problem. So small parts, nah, you're fine. You shouldn't have any issues at all. I say that, though. I will say this. There are some GW tournament organizers out there that tend to go on a power trip, but they don't last very long because people don't put up with that stuff. You got me worried. Honestly, yeah, dude. Like, any reasonable person will see... Huh. That annoys me. That annoys the ever-loving crap out of me. Okay. Well, we're going to be seeing me do some surgery on stream, ladies and gentlemen. I have an idea for the pose that I want to do for this night. I've got to cut the sword off the rest of the arm, so I got to glue it together, and then I've got to cut the sword away from the rest of the arm. Let's see if I can do that without cutting myself today. I haven't injured myself on stream yet this week, so I'm hopeful, but I usually super glue myself or cut myself on stream, and hopefully no one's squeamish. You should check out Dragon Gaming. They make sick upgrade kit stuff, cool pauldrons, little bits to add, etc. I can't talk. That have a really sick upgrade kit for a Terminator Chaplain to Black Templar. Ooh. You know what, Sean? Thank you. I'm gonna have to check that out. I've not heard of Dragon Gaming, but I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. Absolutely. There's not a lot of like 3D bit, or not 3D bit, but third-party bit companies that I'm aware of that aren't, based in England, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to have to pay the premium to get them shipped to the United States. Looks like it's kitten nap time, everybody. Dragoon, got you. Dragoon Gaming. You know what? I may have heard of them. That sounds somewhat familiar. Huh. I think someone's told me about them before, but it would have been a long time ago. Sadly, Dragoon is based in the UK. That's fair. I thought perhaps that's probably where I know them from. I've done a lot of third-party like bit shopping. I have like an idea for an Astra Militarum army that's themed around like being the infantry support for my knights, like the household guard. And I've done some research to get a hold of some stuff. I've eventually found a way with a recipe that will cost me a good amount of money, I think. Oh, shit. I just realized, yeah, I'm going to have to do some serious surgery. Okay. That's fine. This shouldn't be that big of an issue. All right, I've got to cut this hose off. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Hopefully this isn't going to be super boring for people, but this is not going to be the most entertaining thing in the world. Alright, so, in order to do what I need to do, I have to cut this lower section off and re-glue it back to the carapace here. Now, I found when doing something like this, by the way, do not have your blade forward when you're cutting. If you have your blade backwards and you're dragging, it actually cuts a lot better and digs a lot better into the model. Their conversion parts look incredible, though. I'm planning on getting a few buds to go in on an order so we can split shipping. Oh, the parts come pre-cut and washed. That is a boon, believe me. I wish that happened with my Porphyrion, because I'm still not entirely certain I got it all washed the way I need to. So, we shall see. But that's really cool, Sean, and I wish you the best of luck on that, my guy. Space Mom, welcome back, Ma. Glad to see you, Stolas. It's your second favorite guest appearance in the chat. You're only second to Lady Wizard, Mother, so just FYI. You just missed kitten playtime. Now it's currently kitten nap time. So, tip of my knife just snapped off. That's nice. Okay. Da babies. Yeah, you know, you missed Clyde and Inky were going at it, and we were laughing earlier because Clyde and Inky were also doing their damnedest to wake up Blinky, who was taking a big nap. But now they're in a thruple cuddle puddle, which is nice. Okay, making good progress here. When I got my first Warhammer models, my friends who first got me into the hobby talked me into starting a YouTube channel about Warhammer. Well, Lord Nerd, that's awesome. I only started because, well, two things. I had an idea years ago because I was watching a lot of YouTubers like, you know, Pete the War Gamer, Luna says, hi, Space Bum. Pete the War Gamer or Eons of Battle, Ninjon, Miniac, Squidmar. I was watching a lot of hobby channels at the time. And I was like, I'm new to the hobby, relatively new to the hobby. I mean, I hadn't been in it since, I don't know, middle school, I think. It's been a long time. I haven't played a game of Warhammer in almost 15 years. It's been a while. So I wanted to document my journey. There were a lot of other people joining. This was around 8th edition's launch. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about getting in. They're watching people paint models, and they're like, hey, I've got to look that good. And I thought it'd be a really good idea to have people see basically an every guy, an everyman, you know, someone who is on their kind of skill level or even below in many cases, and see someone else struggle in the same way that they might struggle and overcome that struggle. And I thought that would be a really great channel to make. And I never did make it. I already had a YouTube channel, but I didn't I was using it to pay for YouTube Premium, if I'm being honest, and have my subscriptions and stuff. It's called YouTube Red at the time, and I was doing that so I could listen to my podcast and listen to long form videos at work without having my phone unlocked the whole time. And I noticed, you know, I was starting to make lore videos because I was annoying my wife a lot. I was talking about the Porphyrion every day. She was so annoyed. Her and my best friends finally said, you know what, you should make a YouTube channel and start posting content on Instagram about posting Warhammer content every day until you own an Cerastus Knight Porphyrion. And I started it, and I eventually, you know, a couple months in, I actually got the model because my wife and my dad were very gracious and got it for me as a birthday present. And I am eternally touched. That is one of the nicest things that's ever happened to me. Apart from getting life and getting a car from my parents and all that stuff. But, you know, the nicest thing that's ever happened to me. And I thought, like, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to keep making Warhammer content, but I didn't want to be a lore guy. I didn't want to be a lore tuber. There's so many people out there who are lore tubers. You're going to be treading the same ground as them. You're not going to be doing anything overly unique. And I can't talk about topics like the World Eaters in a way that no one's talked about them before. Because, again, like, lore YouTubers have been around for a while, you know? So I was like, you know what? I'll just start documenting my journey. I am on Instagram. I haven't posted anything on Instagram in a while. I haven't posted many content outside of just streaming a couple times a week for a couple months now. I need to get back to it. But I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. A good friend of the channel, also another channel, Final Gaming, has given me some advice, and I might even start a Facebook page. So, alright, we're actually making pretty good progress here. Yeah, so just, if you look up the Autistic Wizard on Instagram, I'd look at my phone, but I'm currently using that to webcam for kittens. I've got, I think it's _Autistic Wizard. And almost all of my... I didn't get to post every single YouTube short video I made on Instagram because Instagram didn't like some of them for some reason. But I did post most of my YouTube shorts on Instagram. That's where I started out primarily, was Instagram. There we go. I'm almost got this separated. Getting real close. There we go. So, once I get this done, I'm going to repose the sword, because I had a really cool idea for the pose for this Castigator. And Stolas should be a fan of the idea, by the way, because it has nothing to do with screwing over chaos. It's about fighting Necrons. Come on now. I can't get my hobby knife out. Well, there it is. The Hawk Lords. Nice. What's the color scheme of the Hawk Lords that you've got going on? Well, it is officially an Autistic Wizard stream, everybody. There we go. I'm gonna hide that behind the kitten cam for now. It's purple. That's interesting. I think I've seen the Hawklord's paint scheme before on Space Marine. I think that's primarily where I've seen Hawklords. I was actually yes, I guess yes, because I was using the Hawklord's paint scheme for the longest time to make the Sons of the Phoenix. So yes, I have seen them, and the Hawklords I think are rather cool of a chapter, personally. I forget who they're a successor of. Are they They're not Ultramarines, are they? They might be. Okay, so... Alright. Now I get to bust out one of my favorite tools I've ever gotten for the hobby. My Fantic. Now. Wow, that really hurts. I got myself good. Fantic is a wireless Dremel tool that I did not know I needed as a hobbyist until I got it. And now that I have it, I can't imagine my life without it. It is such a nice tool to have at your disposal whenever you need it. It's got a multitude of attachments too. Hashtag not sponsored. I'm not that important. I've only got 213 subscribers. Never mind, I've gone up. But still not that important to get sponsorships. Oh, come on. There we go. Lunch break is over. Back to work for me. Good luck with that arm. Also, yeah, I have the Fantic mini drill, which is awesome. Comes with 15 bits any size. Yes, dude, it's so good. Well, brother Sean, thank you for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. I hope you had a good lunch, and hopefully your day goes by fast for you, brother. And yes, the Fantic is amazing. I love this tool so much. What is the lore? Oh, what is the lore you made yourself like? Oh, you mean like what's the lore I've done for my knights, or what's the lore like for the character of the Autistic Wizard, or what's the lore that got me into the hobby? I'm sorry, I'm trying here, lore. What is the lore you made yourself like? Or is there like something I forced myself to like about the lore? I'm sorry. I'm really trying to understand that question. Oh, you mean what's the chapter I made? Okay, gotcha. I understand. Okay, the Sons of the Phoenix chapter, right? Oh, for my knights. Oh, never mind. Gotcha. So I've made my knights. I really wanted a kick-ass knight world that had a lot of knights on it, right? But I didn't want to make my knights one of the largest knight houses. I despise the Mary Suification that a lot of people who make homebrew do. So what I wanted to do was make my knights have a lot of knights, but I wanted to have a very good explanation as to how. And so the way I've done that is there are 3 knight houses on my planet that kind of rule the planet together. So they're not one and the same. Okay? My house is called House Wild Court. Their emblem is a black stag on a yellow field, and their colors are black and yellow with a gunmetal trim, right? The other two night houses are the House Blackstone, which my best friend in the world, JD at Sprutus Saga, that's his house, which are more Nordic inspired. And then I have House Kirkwall, which is based off of my mother's maiden name. I'm not going to say that over here, but the color scheme I had for them and their heraldry is based off of the heraldry my grandmother found years ago, which she swore up and down is fake, but she still gave me a certificate and everything for the family. And their colors were bright red, almost like a candied apple red, and orange with thin black stripes running through the orange, and the heraldry itself were silver keys. So I've got that as that heraldry. And those are the three houses that rule over my planet of Hanor. Now, I'm kind of going very academic here, but I had it in the lore that during the Horus Heresy, they were attacked by a house aligned with Nurgle called House Blisterborn, which, if you look them up, they are an actual house that exists in the lore. There's just very little lore about House Blisterborn. So I thought, hey, I'll use them and add to their lore. On my planet of Hanor, House Blisterborn fought a war to try to conquer and destroy the world. Try to conquer and destroy the planet. They failed, and as they realized they were failing and they couldn't retreat because their ships were being destroyed in orbit, they enacted a dark ritual that opened up a warp rift directly into the realm of Nurgle, his garden. And when they did that, they used it to escape into the warp, but it also tore a massive chunk of the planet's surface with it when it went into the warp, which left a nasty, scarred canyon on the surface of my world of Hanor. And this scar, as it is called, the warp rift closed, but when it opened, it poured out millions upon millions of Nurgle demons across the planet. When the warp rift closed, eventually the energies of the warp dissipated, and the houses were able to slaughter the last of the demons before they completely dissolved because the lack of warp energy. But the warp rift never fully sealed; it just closed behind House Blisterborn. So every few 100 years or every couple thousand years, House Blisterborn launches an invasion of my world of Hanor in what's called a Blighted Crusade and reopens that wound, the warp rift, on the other side. And the scar constantly emits warp corruption slowly over the surface of the planet. So the play there is the night houses gather together and they build fortresses to watch the edge of the scar in case House Blisterborn or a demonic incursion occurs, so they can fight back against these Blighted Crusades. My planet is currently going through the 7th of the Blighted Crusades, the largest of the Blighted Crusades since it's Nurgle's holiest number. And they have sent out a call for aid across the Imperium Nihilus. They're located in the Segmentum Obscurus, by the way. I didn't mention that, unfortunately. But they sent out a call for aid for any Imperial forces across the Imperium Nihilus since they're under a heavy assault. And they're having to fight back against the largest invasion by Nurgle in the planet's history. House Kirkwall was almost completely destroyed, and House Wildcourt absorbed the survivors into their own house and left them their name, their colors, their heraldry, and gave them a large amount of autonomy. All they ask is that House Kirkwall answer when House Wildcourt calls them to action. And so that's why my knight army will have 2 distinct paint schemes. All of my melee-centric knights and close-quarter knights will be colored under House Kirkwall, and all of my ranged knights will be colored under House Wildcourt. And that is the lore for my knight houses. Okay. Alright, I need to do a little bit of polishing to finish this piece off. So, I'm currently working on my Knight Castigator, which is the personal knight of the High King of the House of Wildcourt, Lord Osterwild, And I still don't have a name for it yet, but I'm still hoping to come up with a good one. But I've got that, and my Porphyrion. The lore of the Porphyrion as a knight itself, not just mine, is that pilots of the Porphyrion are the executioners of the household. They are the only pilots in the Imperial Knights that are basically have a writ to kill any knight pilot that they so choose, because they only kill those who bring dishonor upon the house or the family or whatever have you, and they are seen as like the executioner. It's like a dishonorable position, right? So because of that, I wanted to give it a name that evokes the executioner vibe. But with the emblem and heraldry being a stag, I had to think to myself, well, what's the executioner of a stag? And I was like, well, that would be a hunter. So I named it in High Gothic, so the language of the Imperium. The name of my knight is Venatorus Ire, or the Wrath of the Huntsman. Okay, I think that's pretty much going to do it for that part there. Okay, so slice my finger open, but I've now gotten it where I can pose this arm however I so choose. So I think I can have it set like this, so it's kind of at an off angle, because I want the blade to be coming down. Okay. So I can glue it like that. Yeah, that'd be good, I think. I just need to find that cable and then reattach the cable here. So it was sitting like this at an angle like this, and I'm going to pivot it so it's like this. I think that's the way I'm going to go with this. So I just have some gaps I need to fill in here. There's a simple and easy way of doing it, and then there's my way of doing it. The simple and easy way would be have plastic card that you could fit over that hole. I don't have any plastic cards, so I like to do something that's a little bit more messy, but I think it creates a stronger plastic bond overall. So I'm going to actually trim up some sprue here. And be very mindful of my finger while doing this. Okay. So. Alright. Trim that there. Can minis from 1st edition play against minis from 10th edition? Yeah, absolutely. That you could do what's called proxying. So, let's say I want to have my own custom knight errant, right? You could do what's called proxying. So I could build a knight out of Citadel if I wanted to take it to a tournament. And I could give it like a big ass axe, and instead of a melta cannon, I gave it like a fucking weapon from a Gundam model or something, right? But I'm using it as a knight errant. So I'm using it for the rules of a knight errant. So you can absolutely... The only thing that you're going to run into an issue with and that you have to be mindful about is base size. That is the most important facet when it comes to the hobby, is your bases. Because you often measure from your base, right? And there's an issue of like, your base has to be the same diameter as the base of the model that you're proxying for, which is great. If you don't have the right size base, you can literally just find a base online and glue it to the bottom of the 1st edition model that you have, and add some basing or scenery to it if you want to hide it, or you could literally just straight up just glue it to that new base, or glue a magnet to the bottom and magnetize it to that new base. As long as the base is the appropriate size, you're fine. go. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but I had that gap in there, and you can still kind of see where the gap was. I put a piece of sprue down in there, and I've used a sprue goo, which is just plastic cement that I've soaked old pieces of sprue into, and it's melted it and turned it into like this thick paste. And I'm actually using that to fill in the holes where that piece was that I trimmed away, since I cut this from the original arm. All I'm going to do is fill this as much as I can and smooth it as much as I can with this sprue goo. And what that does is it's going to act like a gap filler. And it'll make it where you can very easily, once this dries, it's just going to dry as regular plastic. So it's liquid plastic essentially. Once that's done drying, I'll be able to sand it or file it or polish it, trim it, whatever I need to. And depending on how much like you've soaked sprue in, it might have a slightly softer texture than the rest of Citadel plastic, but it really isn't that big of a deal. I'm currently making lore for your custom chapter. Well, awesome, Lord Nerd. I have been working on my custom chapter for a long time when it comes to lore. About a year and a half now, and I haven't, until recently, I haven't even had a name for it. Are you familiar with the Sons of the Phoenix chapter at all? It's a chapter of Space Marines that are, on paper, they are called Sons of Dorn, right? They're successors of the Imperial Fists. But there's a lot to imply that the chapter of the Sons of the Phoenix is actually a successor chapter made by Belisarius Cawl, and instead of using Dornian gene seed, he's using Emperor's Children gene seed. They have the same purple. They have a purple arm, a purple right arm, I believe, and a purple left knee pad. The rest of the armor is like a slightly off-white with gold trim. See if this sounds familiar to you. They are obsessed with perfection. They work primarily in melee. They're excellent swordsmen, but they're more like the craft and the artistry of swordsmanship. They have an entourage of people that follow them around and record their deeds and basically cheer them on like groupies. And they think of war as an art form. So it's very much like Emperor's Children, but on paper, they're Imperial Fist successors. So, and a lot of people kind of like, oh, that's really, really cool. So the idea is like they're an Ultima founding, so that means they're made with the Primaris Marines. So they haven't been around for like ever in the lore. They're relatively new. But what's fascinating about this is like the idea. Then like during the Dark Imperium novels, Belisarius Cawl and Guilliman have an argument, and the argument is that Belisarius Cawl is convinced that the Emperor's original design and intention behind the Space Marines included the Traitor Space Marines. And the Traitor Space Marines were a pivotal part of that design, but that the Primarchs themselves failed and took so many sons with them when they turned traitor. So the idea being that they should make more chapters using that gene seed. Guilliman obviously said no, thought that was heresy, and said don't do that. And Guilliman and Belisarius was like, oh yeah, no, absolutely, I promise. And then turned around and basically said, okay, well now that I have all this traitor gene seed, let's use it. And we kind of never got another part of that story from them. However, it would be cool to kind of note that with that, it's very heavily implied that the Sons of the Phoenix are Emperor's Children successors that Belisarius Cawl made in secret without Guilliman's knowledge, and is hiding them as Imperial Fists. So the idea is, okay, well clearly he's running some kind of some kind of like experiment. So I made a custom chapter that's basically Alpha Legion, but they are officially Raven Guard successors. I call them the Ophidian Blades. What's your thoughts on Legions Imperialis Questoris Knights? Honestly, I haven't looked too much into it. Legions Imperialis as a game system is somewhat interesting, and I love the fact that it's like a successor to old epic scale models. So like I think that's awesome from like a hobby history perspective. I love knights, so I don't see any reason why I wouldn't like the Legions Imperialis knights. I think that'd be cool. I love knights in general, so you've got me. If I could buy more knights, why wouldn't I? There we go. Thin out that sprue goo just a touch. I need to get more Tamiya extra thin here soon. There we go. I have now reposed my sword, so now my sword is in a very distinctive, more downward slope. Was it worth cutting my finger open? Yes. Yes, it was. And that's all I will say on that matter. Okie dokie. Let's see. We've got the sword finished now, which is great. I'm just going to let that dry for a little bit. So I think what I will do is I'm going to go back and finish the arm for the Castigator cannon. I think that sounds like a great idea. So let's go ahead and get that up there. But yes, I am interested. I'd love to have more. I've seen the pictures of the Porphyrions, and I think that's probably the only way I'm going to own an Asterius unless they finally put them into plastic, which is a distinct possibility. Will they do it? I'm not so sure. But I think they're cool. I think the knights in general just look really, really cool in general. So you have my attention. A33, A34. Here we go. But yeah, Lord Nerd, I call them the Ophidian Blades. They are... I couldn't use Hydra. But I have this... I have actually on Space Marine, all of my Marines, except for my... even my Bulwark now, are colored in the Ophidian Blades color scheme. So I'm rocking Corvus Black... Although, in reality, their Corvus Black's more gray than anything, so I might just paint the models gray instead of Corvus Black. And I've got their left arm and left leg are the Alpha Legion blue. So Sotek green, but in reality, Sotek green's more green than blue. In the game, it's like an almost turquoise teal color. So my one complaint about that game is the colors are not actually accurate to the actual color. Okay. So I've got those now. Let's cut out 20... Oh no, wait. 32. 32. Okay. The kittens have awakened our collective nerdiness. Exactly. Oh, hi, Blinky. Hi. You okay? He's staring at me, and I don't know how to feel about this. Hi, Blinks. Okay. I'd pull him out, but he'll just crawl everywhere and cling to my shirt and meow as loud as he possibly can. Actually, give me just a second here. I gotta let the dogs out. They've been very, very patient, and they've been waiting on me. Let me go let the dogs out real fast, and I will be right back. So just give me just a couple minutes here. I have returned, and also kittens are eating. Let the dogs out. Figured I'd grab myself a nice room temperature Coke Zero and feed the kittens, since it was pretty much time for them to be eating anyway. So enjoy, kittens. May they be cute and adorable. I'm trying pretty good, I think. Okie dokie. Let's get this Fang sorted. Good news. My finger only aches ever so slightly, so I'm not going to die. Disappointing to Stolas, I'm sure. Because if I were to die now, the chaos god of autism himself, Zinch, would probably claim my soul. I don't know. Actually, I don't know about that. I don't know if that would be happening. I'm pretty opposed to change in general, so maybe Nurgle? I don't know which is a more disturbing thought, that I'd be a champion of Nurgle or a champion of Zinch. I am fat, so maybe Nurgle. No, that would probably be. I'd probably fit in. Clyde, be nice. Quit beating your brother to get to the food. There we go. Okay. So. Okay. So that's done. Now I need. Which piece is it? 31 and 31. As I'm making lore for my custom chapter, should I give them psychic abilities or no? Well, that really depends. Who are they? A successor of? That's going to be your big determining factor. Who are they a successor of? That's the important facet here. Because if you got like people like the Space Wolves or, you know, more or less psionically opposed individuals, probably wouldn't. But if you've got like, you know, they're kind of indifferent to psychics or anything, I think it could be a lot of fun. It could be interesting to give them psychic abilities. Exactly, Luna. Exactly. Okay, let's trim this down here. Okay, now I've made mistakes with this in the past, all right? And I need to be very cognizant of this fact. I kind of want to go for a slightly relaxed pose, like we're surveying the battlefield. So I don't think I want the gun up. I'm going to have the gun down, I think. Down and off to the side like this. Blinky started it. Clyde is my perfect princess. No. Blinky did not start that. You stop that. That is propaganda. I want to try to do a shadow-based psychic abilities for my chapter. That'd be interesting. I mean, to be fair, you have precedent. We have silent and ocean-based with the Carcharodons. At least in previous editions. Okay, got that on there. We'll go ahead and just slather on that plastic glue on the top of the seam so we're nice and sealed. Yeah, think down like that. That'd look really good. You know, where he's got this arm kind of in a downward angle and is kind of surveying. No. The gun I'll have in the upmost position. Sorry, internet went. They're successors of the Grey Knights. Now that is interesting. That is interesting. I have not seen. I don't know. I'm going to say something, and I'm not going to. I need you to let me say my full thought out first. I don't know if the Grey Knights can have successors, but that would be an interesting thing. And honestly, who gives a damn? Right? I mean, if you're worried about being canon friendly, just don't. Go for it. Shoot your shot, my guy. So, successors of the Grey Knights, yes, 1,000%. They should be Psychers. 100,000%. For sure. I've heard Tyberos has a great shark-like creature as a pet. I heard Tyberos was the great shark-like creature. Because he's actually one of the largest Space Marines. There is a more than like well-known theory that Tyberos is actually a Primarch. Yeah, having the arm up, I think. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go for it. So. What is the Secret Glade of the Dryad? Is that right? Secret Glade of the Shy Dragon, excuse me. Okay, gotcha. I always forget. I like this song a lot, though. And I think Tyberos is a great character. I hope to see some more Carcharodon love. And I will say this. We've got a lot now of Successor Chapter love coming into the game. God, I can picture them. What's that chapter? Come on. They're based off modern military. They're Raven Guard successors. They're green. I can picture them in my head. I just can't think of the name. Who are they? Oh, come on. That's going to bother me. I can picture them. They're one of the most famous successor chapters that are not part of the actual main chapter. Son of a bitch. I can't think of it. Who is it? Who's that? That's going to bother me. That's going to really bother me. They're one of the more famous successor chapters of Raven Guard. The Raptors. Thank you, Luna. Thank you. Yes. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Oh, my God. No, Raptors. Yeah, the Raptors. The Raptors are a very famous successor chapter that have only recently started to get some love on the tabletop. With GW, they're being put in codexes. They're actually getting lore about them now. They're a successor chapter that's getting a lot of love now too. Black Templars obviously are like the go-to example of a chapter getting love from GW, and I kind of believe the theory, by the way, that GW regrets not making the Black Templars a founding chapter. That they kind of regret the Imperial Fists are the founding chapter, the Legion that they come from. And I kind of see that. I think, but it is. There's been a lot of successor chapter love as of late, so I hope to see some Carcharodons soon. I think that'd be amazing. There's a non-zero chance that this edition, actually, that we get a Tyberos model. So that could be fascinating. I'd like to see that, I think. I'd love to see that. Okay. There we go. All right, got a nice angle here on this Castigator bolt cannon. I think that'll look really good. I'm thinking we have the arm up kind of like this. You know, so it's kind of because it's gonna be stepping over some rubble. I've got a Doom Scythe that it's going to be stepping over. So we're going to have like this Captain Morgan kind of pose thing going on, I think, which I think will look really good with the Doom Scythe. And then I want the sword kind of down, down like this in relation to the body. So we kind of have this like Captain Morgan, we're surveying the battlefield kind of vibe going on, you know. I think that would look really cool, you know, something kind of like this. I think that'd be great. One of the staff at my local Warhammer shop did mention that they hope Dorn comes back in Black Templar colors. That is not the first time I've heard this. I've heard it so many times that when Dorn comes back, that he'll be donning the black, that he'll be wearing the Black Templar colors, that he's going to adopt the Sigismund was right mentality. Instead of getting uber depressed like Guilliman, he's going to get angry. The opposite of Guilliman. Get just violently angry. And I'm here for it. I think that'd be really cool to get a Black Templar styling of Dorn. And if that's the case, and I really do kind of hope that they go that way. If that's the case, we're going to see the legions essentially coming back. That's what's fascinating about this whole thing. We're going to see the legions coming back. Because maybe not in name, but like in spirit. Because Guilliman already kind of did that with the Indominus Crusade. He brought the legions back in all but name in the Indominus Crusade, and because most of the Indominus Crusade was Primaris Marines, but also a lot of Ultramarines, a lot of Ultramarines. And now with the 500 Worlds campaign, a ton of Ultramarine successor chapters are showing up for this. The legions are basically back, right? The Lion with his Risen and the Dark Angels are like a lot of successors are now flocking to the Rock with the Lion's return. And so we're gonna see like the Dark Angels Legion is basically coming back too. If Dorn comes back, I think he'll unite the Black Templars. I think the Legion, the Imperial Fists will show up. All the Imperial Fist successors will show up, and they will fight in under one banner again, and maybe like different colors, different chapters, but they're fighting in Dorn's name. We're gonna see the legions coming back one by one, and I'm here for it. I think that's great. I think it's a really good thing to see. I don't mind if they make 30K or 40K, 30K. It's how they do it. They have to earn turning 40K into 30K. We need to keep the Grimdark Edge. I think we need to keep some of the Grimdark Edge, but I don't mind a slight tonal shift to Hope Punk, which is kind of what it will turn into. A more dark version of Hope Punk, obviously. It'll still have a lot of Grimdark elements, but a more hopeful for humanity kind of setting, I think would be great to see. It's just they have to do it right. You have to earn it. You can't just wave your hand and change things, which is what they did with Guilliman pretty early on. Now, Guilliman's return isn't the thing that I'm like uber worried about. It's like it was the Primaris Marines when they first came in that were the problems, because they kind of like they wanted to undo the gene seed flaws with the Space Wolves and the Dark Blood Angels, and they kind of like said, oh well, gene seed flaws are gone, and then they had to step back and like retcon the retcon and go, well, no, they're not immune to the gene seed flaws, Primaris Marines. They're just very resistant to them. And now they've even stepped back from that. So I think they've learned their lesson. If they haven't learned their lesson, GW might be the dumbest company I've ever seen. But EA is still number one for now. GW knows how to make money, and they're scared of their fans. They don't want to piss them off too much. That's why these very, very, very quiet stepping back of the release of the Female Custodes box, the big box, not the individual units, went away because they don't want to piss them off. Waiting for the return of Vulcan. Let me tell you something, my friend. If you're waiting for the return of Vulcan, I have heard rumors. I don't have any whispers in the warp myself, but like Valrax reported on it. A lot of other people have reported on it. They have said, and it was kind of like, it was very quiet when they said it, but Primarchs will be returning in 11th edition. And if that's the case, right? Where are we going? We're returning to a planet, a very important planet. If you're a Vulcan fan, we're going back to Armageddon. And let me tell you, where did Vulcan disappear? He disappeared on Armageddon during the War of the... Was it the War of the Beast? Pretty sure it was. And I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. Actually, to be fair, I think Vulcan, in the lore, it will actually be canonically the first Primarch to have returned. Because I don't think he's been dead this whole time. In some of the books, he was talking about wanting to be a simple farmer and live a simple life after the wars were over. And I think after his death on Armageddon, I think he came back, and I think he did do just that and became a simple farmer for a while. But now the galaxy's getting to a point, and the war has returned to Armageddon, and if the rumors are to be believed, if the leaks are to be believed, Armageddon is going to fall to the Orcs. The Orcs will take it, and Olenor will return, the Orc homeworld, because that's what Armageddon is. That's why the Orcs are drawn to it. So Vulcan may have no choice but to return if he is living a quiet life, or if he hasn't regenerated yet. Then I think he's going to show back up. I think he's coming back. If Vulcan doesn't return, you'll sue Games Workshop. I'm going to join you. Let's make that a class action thing. We need our best boy Vulcan back in the saddle again, my friend. Well, I have managed to, not once on stream, but twice on stream today, cut myself. I am a very smart man. Don't mind me. Just going to have a frozen Uncrustable. I think this is going to be a really good pose. If I don't drop my arm. But yeah. Arm up, kind of like this. I'm going to have the arm out a little bit, so... Salamanders are cool. Salamanders are really, really cool. Didn't mean to yell in your ear there. But have the arm up like this. Yes! See, now the vision's coming together. If I have the arm up like this, and I finish the sword arm, I'm going to have the sword arm down like this. It'd be a really good pose. Sword arm down like this. Gun arm up like this. Yeah, this is going to be a really good pose, I think. Okay. Really good action pose. Inspired by some old video game poses and some old 80s movies poses. Okay. This isn't completely dry. It takes Sprue Goo a little while to fully dry. But this is dry enough. I think I can finish building the arm. So, you legit use knives for a living. What is it about hobby knives in you? Have you seen the size of my hands and how big this blade is? I don't have enough to cut with, and my fingers get in the way, so I have to cut very carefully. And these things are fucking sharp. Sharper than any chef's knife I've ever used. But, to be fair, I was doing something stupid when I cut myself here. The knife just came yanking out of the model and just got myself pretty good, too. It's pretty deep, but we're not that bad. This one's like a tiny nick. I'll be fine. Besides, it wouldn't be an Autistic Wizard stream, Mom, if I didn't hurt myself live on camera. Somehow yesterday I managed to survive that. The wounds were not physical, they were emotional. Because I was called AI. I am just AI. I am not real. The stream isn't real. This is all AI generated. My wife confirmed it, so. Let's see. Got the ammo done for that one. Got the box done for that one. So next up is E11. So I need E11. Let's cut this bad boy out. Okie dokie. Let's get my hobby knife. Let's not cut myself a third time. That's pretty smooth, actually. It's nice. I was just about to mention, your wife confirmed it. Yes, my wife confirmed I am AI. I'm not real. Thank you, honey. Yeah, this is going to be nice. The best part about doing these kind of kit bashes, by the way, the best part about doing these kind of kit bashes, where you're changing the poses of things like the legs or the arms, in this instance, like I've separated the blade from the rest of the arm, is I don't care how many people have purchased this kit, right? You'll see a Castigator eventually. You'll see somebody has built a Castigator at some point in time. And when that happens, what's going to happen here is someone else will have it painted up in a different color scheme than you, but no one else is going to have the exact same pose. No one else is going to have cut this arm off to make the same pose that I'm making. So it's just like there's going to be no other Castigator that's out there like mine, which is, I think, really cool. Okay, so that's that piece. Next up, I need E10. Okay. And that's this one. There we go. Excuse me. Let me just DSP everybody again. Okay. This is really tricky because this is such a fragile piece. Okay. Now this goes where exactly? So this goes... I don't understand. Hold on. I have to put the chat away for a second. I gotta figure this out here. So it attaches to the blade? Oh, okay. That makes sense. Alright. I'm just stupid, guys. Guys, I may not be smart. Well, everyone's sitting there like, well, no dip, Sherlock. You cut yourself twice on camera. Today. Okay. There we go. One cable down. Okay. So that's it. Now I just build the arm. Okay, cool. So next up, my other A sprue. And then I think all that's left is building the head and then the legs, and that's it. I think that's all I've got left. Well, first things first, I guess. We'll just cut this bad boy off. Coke break. I've got a lot of plastic shavings I need to vacuum real quick. There we go. Let's trim this up real fast. Got some couple of sprue gates here. So this is actually going to be the more interesting part of this build, I think. Is once the arms are on and I can kind of compare them to the torso, the legs are going to be the hardest part. Because I got to hold them in the right position, but the base is going to be the part that's going to be supporting that. But the arms, I will not have anything to compare it to. Because that's what I'm going to be using to make the comparison for the legs. Not bad. And there we go. Kaboom. Got that on there. Okay. So, first piece down on that one. Next up, I need both of the 30s. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I make my life harder? Why can't I ever do anything simply? Okay, so I need 32, right? I believe that's right, 32. Yes. Okay, 32s. That was almost bad. Boom. Okay, let's go ahead and get these trimmed up real fast, and then we're on to the upper arm portion, and then I have to get the shoulder connection portion. Smooth. I think half the reason I enjoy this music as much as I do, and I really do enjoy this music, it's called Dungeon Synth, which is a genre I'm sure my mother is going, of course you listen to. But it reminds me of the video game Mountain Blade Bannerlord. I don't know if anyone's been in at all knows Mountain Blade, but I love me some Mountain Blade. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is one of the games I've sunk a lot of hours into. Not as much as I've sunk into other like Paradox Interactive games. I think I'm over 1,000 hours into Stellaris. Or as I call it, Space Autism Simulator. Which I have learned, by the way, Paradox Interactive Games as a publisher, 95% of their audience is autistic. I just realized I have no idea which model you're working on. This, mother, is my, if you read the description, is the Cerastus Castigator. This is the first knight my wife ever bought me. It's the one with the big sword and gun on it. It's my second favorite knight model that they've make. Obviously behind my favorite model of all time, the Acastus Knight Porphyrion. Or as my wife likes to call it, the Cast Iron Porpoise. No, we'll stick with it straight, I think. Just trying to get this glued down. Looks like the kittens are back for their post-food nap. They're cute. Although, I don't see Clyde. I don't know where Clyde ended up. Cast iron porpoise. Yes, my wife. She's creative, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now for the upper arm. These, because they only have 2 connection points, are actually so easy to clean. I don't know why the middle arm / lower arm sections have so many connection points. Just seems so asinine if you ask me, but with less connection points means less sprue gates I have to cut. Try not to over glue here. I have a lot of issues with over spillage. I need this to stay somewhat flexible and rotatable because I need to do that to measure. Flavor profile question. If you were jazzing up hummus with smoked paprika, red pepper flakes, and garlic oil, would you add oregano or thyme? Well, it depends. So paprika, red pepper flake, and garlic olive oil is very Mediterranean. But the question is, are you going to go with a central Mediterranean, southern Mediterranean, eastern, or western? If you were going to go for like a more Italian, Greek vibe, I would go with oregano. Thyme would be more eastern and southern, in my opinion. A little closer to Middle Eastern at that point. So like thyme and turmeric would be great. But yeah, if you're going to go for like an Italian lighter flavor profile, oregano for sure. Okay, let's get the shoulder pieces. Oh, fun fact. Actually, not that anyone cares in particular, but I made shakshuka for the first time for some people at work. She's not lost. She's in the playpen somewhere. I just don't have direct eyes on her. All right, Lord Nerd. You know what? Thank you so much for stopping by today, brother. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you next time, brother, man. And now that you're in the Discord, I'll definitely take a look at any pictures you post, and you'll get a like from me. I guarantee it. Okie dokie. Well, that's the last of the Thief playlist. You know what? I like Fable. Let's go with Fable. I'd personally go with more Italian vibe. You know, but that's just the Italian in you, Luna. And I agree with you. I like Fable, but I don't like this. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We'll go with an old favorite of mine. I agree, oregano it is. Yes, oregano is good stuff. All right, let's get this shoulder here. I know it's me being Italian. Listen, I'm vicariously Italian. That's what I tell people. I know on my mom's side, we are very English, but I like to claim that I'm Italian vicariously. They both smelled good, but I didn't want to do both because it felt like too much. I agree. I think you'd get too much earthiness from the thyme if you did that with the oregano. If it was going in something like acidic, like a tomato sauce, that's one thing. But I think your instincts were right on that one, Ma. Oh, I made this crab. Okay, all right. Well, it's just us three. I made a crab rangoon dip last night. I was going to use to make. If you had any pine nuts, yes, that would be good. You should make basil if you have pine nuts, though. Last night I made crab rangoon dip for my wife. I was going to make crab rangoon grilled cheese sandwiches. My wife decided she was too hungry and didn't want to wait for it to be turned into grilled cheese. So we were going to make more of it tonight and have that. But instead, Luna, we're actually going to our favorite Italian restaurant in the entire state of Oklahoma called Frankie's Italian. Run by an actual Italian family who we were going to have cater our dinner, our wedding last year. The day of our wedding, they shut down. They were shut down for a month because they were going back to Italy for a month. Lemon pepper too. Lemon pepper would be good in there. Sorry, I love the Magic Sword so much. If the music gets loud, you let me know. I've got it blaring in my ears, but I like to jam out. Alright, done rocking out to the music. Okay. So, let's do a comparison here. I've glued down the Castigator bolt cannon. Let's get it on real fast. Thinking like going something like this. I think that would look good. And then... yeah, that would look good. So what I need to do, first things first, is I need to glue down the arm. Sorry. Said I was done jamming out. I lied. Do you know what part of Italy they're from? I think southern Italy. They're fairly tan. So I think they're southern Italian, but I think there's a couple of northern Italians. In the kitchen. But they make amazing food. My mother loves their chicken cremora. Every time we go, that's what she always gets, is the chicken cremora. I have had their chicken parmesan, their chicken diablo, their pasta primavera, their bolognese, which pisses me off how good it is. Because I may not be Italian, but I've spent the last 15 years of my life perfecting red sauce, and theirs is better than mine, and I have no idea how they do it. Yeah, that right there, I think. They might have. I don't remember. You know what? We should make a point of asking tonight, Ma. Because it's fantastic food. Fantastic food. Food. The people are also amazingly nice. It's just really good Italian food. Really? Your family's from Napoli, huh? My family's from England. From all over England. Although not biologically, my dad's side of the family is also from England as well. ML's lasagna is better. I've not actually had their lasagna, which feels a little heretical. Well, their pizza's better, but that's because ML's does pizza. I never did get to have Frankie's Pizza, although Josh did. He said it was really good. Shout out to Frankie's Italian in Oklahoma, everybody. Really good food. Okay, let's get that in here for the joints on the arm. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So that's that arm finished. Pops is more of a mutt. That's Pops is where I get my Choctaw side from. That's fair. You know, Luna, honestly, don't stress out too much about it. I'm having a hard time really figuring out how I want to pose this sword, because... Well, first things first, I think that's the angle I want for the shoulder, so we'll just do that first. Normally it's easier to work the other direction, but I know for a fact this is the angle I want the shoulder at, so that's what we'll do. And shame on me, I just realized I didn't cut the sprue gates off the tops of the shoulders here, so I'm going to have to do that after this glue dries. By the way, Mother, to answer your question you asked a while ago, the odds that you get the chicken cremora are insanely high. I put it at like 2-to-1 odds that you get it at this point. Oh, there's Clyde crawling forward. It just feels weird to be able to articulate the arm where it's like bent like this, you know, with the wrist. But it is a robot. I don't think it matters that much. Yeah, I don't think it matters that much. Yeah, okay. Well, once you get the mutilators done, Luna, please post in the Discord. I think they'll look really cool. That'll work. Let's touch up these joints real fast with some extra sprue glue, but not sprue goo. That's different. That's the other bottle. Let's get this glued down real fast. Okay. There we go. I think that'll do it there for the arms. Yeah, I think that'll work. That'll work really, really well. Right. Yeah, let's bend that in. Touch up that elbow here. Okay. That is pretty awesome. Okay, there we go. Now, I think next up is I could build the throne. I don't need to build the throne, though. I'm not going to build the throne mechanically. You're not going to be able to see into the throne anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. Well, I don't need to build the pilot. I'm going to build the throne because I have an idea that I want to do for the generator, but I'll do that another time. Okay, let's get the head done. Okay, so E1. So we need to get E. Here. Here's E. E1. There it is. Drop those eyes there. Cut that off there. All right. Am I dumb? Oh yeah, I'm dumb. Okay. Okay, so they just kind of fit in there together like that. All right, cool. So we'll just drop a little bit of plastic cement here and here. Okay. Gotta trace down this chin here. That's squeezed together. Okay, so now we've got plastic cement that's holding the head together. Just got to use that opportunity to trim off these sprue gates while that dries. There we go. Paint that into the seam here. Get a small gap in this trim piece. I'm trying to... I don't want to use sprue goo to fix this. I think that would be too much like overkill to fix that small problem. But what I will do is put a good amount of plastic cement in that spot and then just smash the ever-loving crap out of this. Okay, gonna wash off all the excess plastic melt. Okay, got that there. You gotta trim off the gates down here real quick. And this little bit here on the chin. Okay. Okay, next up is E5 and E4, which are down here. Okay, let's get these trimmed off. We'll add this to the head of the Castigator. Now there's a decent... no, I think it's meant to be there. I don't think that's a mold line, which is good. Coke Zero. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. So this just slots over that tab there. Gotcha. Okay. That makes perfect sense, actually. No, I can't. I don't get phone calls at the moment. Unfortunately, my brother in Christ, my phone is being used to webcam for kids. So, unfortunately, my phone is occupied. You have my sincerest apologies and condolences. Move my cam to the top right. You want to see my wonderful hands in action? Fair enough. I might do so. Yeah, I'm not opposed to playing some Space Marine. Give me a little bit, my brother in Christ, to finish up the last touches here on the Castigator, because I'm getting pretty damn close, I think. I've got my pose, I think, figured out for the arms. So I'm gonna go for like this action movie relaxed pose kind of idea going on here, which I think will look really good once it's all said and done. But first, I need to get this head finished. One of the things I'm actually trying to work out is getting these sprue gates cut off of these cables here without slicing my fingers open for a third time today on stream. Because it definitely wouldn't be an Autistic Wizard stream if there wasn't an Autistic Wizard injury. And good news, I made up for yesterday. Somehow I made it through yesterday. But I made up for it today. Mutilators are pretty much one way to assemble them, except for literally one customization option, which has two options. See, Luna, we've talked about it in the past. It's one of the reasons I hate the Knights. And I love the Knights. They're my favorite army in 40k currently. I will say it has changed a couple of times, but my other ones are still very much beloved. My Votan and my Space Wolves. However, I hate the monopose nature of most of the Knights, which is why I work so hard to customize my Knights every chance I get an opportunity. So, I say this. If there's literally only one way to build your Mutilators, get brave. Pull out a hobby knife. Don't cut your finger open, but cut some pieces loose. Repose it. That's the number one way to get an interesting looking Mutilator that stands out from everybody else's, is to just do some custom pose work. Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not saying you've got no choice. You must do this. I can't hold you hostage, but I say go for it. In the end, you might have something that looks way cooler than anything GW ever came up with. Also, Mother, Josh has said hello to you. You need to be nice and say hi back. She's probably very distracted, eating hummus. Okay, so got the head finished out there. Now I need to put the armor plating on the head. And then it's the mount to the chest. Boom. Okay. Let's trim some sprue gates. Okay. Oops. Nice. Called it. She was distracted eating hummus. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy cemented up. Oh yeah, you gotta trim this. Ooh, that would have been bad. I still gotta trim the tops of the arms too. Thank you for letting me know, Joshy Poo. Okay, let's get this topped off, get that seam filled in here. Okay, let's get that topped off as well. Nice. Got the head finished on that one. Now let's see. I need A30 and A30, which will be the head mounts for it. Okay, so that's both of the A30s here. Now, get this bad boy here. If you could design at least one of the Lost Primarchs, how would you design them? See, that is an interesting question. To answer that question, I think the best, since we fell into silence, my apologies, Linda, for being quiet. I'm trying not to cut myself again. That would go back to the identity of the Lost Primarchs for me. Because I have to have something to base it off of, right? And to figure out their identity, we would need to figure out exactly what was wrong with them that they were considered failures by the Emperor. I have a theory that we know a lot more about the Lost Primarchs and the nature of why they were erased from Imperial record than most people would expect. See, we have some inclination that Sanguinius was worried that his legion was going to be wiped out because he was worried about the Red Thirst being discovered, especially in him specifically. And we have Lorgar, who was worried that his legion would be wiped out because of the religious nature of it. Now, what we do know is, one, although Sanguinius was unaware, the Red Thirst was an intentional design by the Emperor. Lorgar, however, not being erased is a far more interesting conundrum. And I think the fact that these two were worried based off of their own actions or, their very nature kind of indicates as to what the crime was of the Lost Primarchs. Okay? Lorgar was worried that his legion was going to be eradicated because of the religious nature of worshipping the Emperor and going against the Imperial truth. And then you had the Sanguinius was worried that he was going to be eradicated because of the genetic flaw that was put in him by design, although, again, he didn't know it was by design. No, both of these are interesting to me because what makes them interesting is I think both of these are indications of what the Lost Primarchs did or happened to them. So, what do I mean? I mean, I think that the Lost Primarchs, their terms, like the titles, are given the Forgotten and the Purged. I think, and that's not like a collective thing either. One is called the Forgotten and one is called the Purged. Who's my favorite in the Dornian Heresy? Conrad Kurz, who plays the part of Sanguinius. I think the Forgotten is called the Forgotten because the Forgotten probably has something to do with the nature of the Blood Angels and why Sanguinius is where the Blood Angels were going to be wiped out. Okay? Yeah, I think that'll look good. So, I think what happened is... I think what happened is that the Forgotten had some sort of flaw. Maybe it was a constant mutation. Maybe they their gene seed and the Primarch itself was so wholly unstable that they constantly mutated or were constantly sick. And then two, that Lorgar being worried about his legion being eradicated, and then the Purged, the title of the 11th Primarch, I think is an indicator that the 11th Primarch in some way, shape, or form went against the Imperial truth. Now, what did they do that was so bad that they were going against the Imperial truth? I think it has to be worse than just straight up heresy, because even the demonic Primarchs are remembered in history now. Now, would the Emperor have ordered them to be forgotten? Maybe. You can make that argument. But I think the Purged went against the Imperial Creed in a way that even the Chaos Primarchs didn't go against it. I think the Purged, the 11th Primarch, was collaborating with Xenos. Or Abominable Intelligence, one of the two, AI or Xenos. And if it's Xenos or AI, I would design the 11th Primarch around that. Maybe they have more Xenos technology integrated into their suits or something, or perhaps they are so far down the rabbit hole of tech and technology that they have basically started to turn themselves into an abominable intelligence. And that's what I would do. I would do something like that, like a Xenos weapon in the hands of that Primarch. For the Forgotten, I think that mutation plays a big part of it. I don't think that they're chaos tainted, but I think that they are mutated. And I think I would add... I basically make them look like a non-warp demonic Primarch with multiple different aspects to them. Fangs, fur, tentacles, something weird. I think that would be really cool. Favorite Primarch, if I could make it, I would still make a Loyalist Curse. I think a Loyalist Curse from the Dornian Heresy would be pretty freaking cool. I think it'd be really dope. Alright. We've actually made some serious progress today. I've managed to get the ammo pack on the back here finished, which is nice. I've managed to get the Castigator bolt cannon pretty much finished here, which is nice. Sword arm is done. I've got the pose I want for it, so I think I'm gonna go for a pose kind of like this, with the blade down at an angle and him stepping up over a rubble of a doom scythe or something. I'm thinking about having him turned, so his gun's gonna be further away from the base, but I'm gonna have him turn and face the camera, kind of like this pose. I think that'd be so freaking cool. I think it'd be great. And then I'm gonna have electrical arcs coming off of this with the copper wire I've purchased. Yeah, I'm liking this. Castigator is coming along quite nicely today. And I've only bled for this model twice. So, thank God. Next, all that's left, besides finishing the base, would be getting the carapace finished for the back of it. And that's it. once the carapace is finished and the base is finished, I just got to knock out the legs, the feet, and the toes and all, but I have to wait for the base to be finished, so I'm probably going to focus on that next stream. I think I'll go ahead and take a break here now anyway. I got to let the dogs out anyhow, and I got to finish up some stuff around the house, and I'm going to play some Space Marine with my boy. So I'll end it here. Luna, thank you so much for watching most of the stream today. It really does mean a lot to me. Greatly appreciate that. If anyone else out there, if you're watching and if you liked what you've seen, please feel free to leave a like on the video. It really does help. If you didn't like what you saw, I appreciate you watching as long as you have.